Hanoi, the heart of North Vietnam. For strike aircraft, this is one of the most heavily defended areas. The major detection tool is radar, and there are many types. Early warning radar, ground-controlled intercept radar, acquisition radar, AAA fire control radar, surface-to-air missile radar, and air intercept radar aboard the MiGs. The net effect is a radar blanket that thoroughly covers North Vietnam and extends far beyond the borders. This radar network is a highly dependable detection system and provides accurate fire control for missile defense, anti-aircraft artillery, and MiGs. A large part of the answer to this seemingly hopeless airstrike situation is tactical electronic warfare, a significant tool of the commander. The mission of tactical electronic warfare is to confuse, degrade, and deny the enemy's use of his electronic detection and defense capability. Some of the tools currently in use for accomplishing this mission are the EB-66B, C, and E model aircraft. Another tool of tactical electronic warfare is the Iron Hand flight, composed of 4 F-105s, at least one of which is Wild Weasel configured. Their job is to suppress SAM and AAA radar while the strike force is over the target by the ultimate countermeasure: destruction. Radar jamming pods are used for fighter self-protection to confuse and degrade fire control and SAM radar, as well as acquisition and GCI radars. The strike force will refuel en route to their IP. There has been a vast change in the hostile radar environment since the beginning of the air war over North Vietnam. In 1965, the defenses were thin. By 1968, however, the numbers of radars had increased by 200%, with a significant increase in effectiveness. This increased effectiveness is measured not only in better quality radars and higher personnel training levels, but in more sophisticated tactics. Some of these tactics involve mobility, controlled radar emission, coordinated intercept, and cross-tell. The overall result has made tactical electronic warfare a mission of utmost importance. To paraphrase a famous statement, it cannot be guaranteed that an aircraft going into a hostile environment with electronic countermeasures will return. But it can be almost guaranteed that an aircraft without ECM will not return. A thorough understanding of the tactical electronic warfare role is essential to successful mission accomplishment. We will examine the structure, the function, and the techniques of the TEW effort. PACAF, Pacific Air Forces, coordinates strikes in Southeast Asia, both from a list of approved targets and on specific instructions from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. th Air Force, Clark Air Base, Republic of the Philippine Islands, is charged with administrative and logistic support of activities operating from Thailand. Operational responsibility for air operations in Southeast Asia lies with 7th Air Force Headquarters, Tan Son Nhut Air Base, Republic of Vietnam. From the list of approved targets, the 7th Air Force commander determines which targets will be struck. Advising the commander in this decision are members of various strike agencies, including photo reconnaissance, intelligence, and electronic countermeasures. When the targets and strike force composition have been decided and approved, the strike order goes to the Alpha or Bravo Division of Current Plans, Director of Combat Operations. The Alpha Team, or Frag Shop as it is called, begins the preparation of the fragmentary orders sent to the strike force itself, as well as all supporting units, including the Tactical Electronic Warfare units. The fragmentary orders, or frags, include all pertinent mission data, such as air and electronic order of battle, primary and alternate targets, ingress, egress routes, strike force composition, refueling units, orbits and times, electronic countermeasures orbits, radar and SAM and flak suppression forces, search and recovery units and data, and photo reconnaissance units and data. Thousands of bits of data are coordinated, checked, and adjusted until they fit the critical time schedule forming the backbone of the mission. When the strike order and all fragmentary orders are completed, they are encoded and transmitted to all organizations concerned. By radio relay, the message goes out to UBON, the 8th Tactical Fighter Wing, Korat, the 388th Tactical Fighter Wing, Tak Lee, the 355th Tactical Fighter Wing, Udorn, the 432nd Tactical Reconnaissance Wing. Arrival of the frag order sets in motion a variety of activities, starting at wing headquarters and radiating throughout the organization. The strike force commander, flight leaders, and air crews meet in mission planning at wing headquarters. The operational details of the mission take shape. In the mission planning room at the 41st Tactical Electronic Warfare Squadron, crews plan the flights of their EB-66 jamming and reconnaissance aircraft. They will support the strike force. Pertinent details are copied by the electronic warfare officers, or EWOs, from the frag breakout sheets onto their mission worksheets and maps. Each EB-66 Tactical Electronic Warfare aircraft is assigned an orbit or route. The orbit usually extends 20 miles on either side of the IP and is 8 miles wide. The orbit is usually flown at 28 to 30,000 feet. Purpose of the orbit is to permit jamming hostile radars which scan strike force ingress routes. 3 models of the EB-66 are used: the B, C, and E models. The mission planning chart reflects the strike force mission profile: ingress-egress routes, primary and alternate targets, active SAM sites, ECM orbits, and rendezvous points. The refueling chart shows the tanker tracks. The frag breakout sheet gives times and coordinates for rendezvous. These are copied on the EB-66 mission worksheet. The EWOs prepare their worksheets and flimsy maps. These materials are used aboard the aircraft. The strike force targets, the ingress-egress routes, IPs for jamming orbits and refueling data. The role of the EB-66 Tactical Electronic Warfare aircraft on a typical mission is to support the strike force by detecting and jamming enemy radar along ingress and egress routes. This confuses and degrades the hostile use of enemy radar against the strike force. Mission planning is complete. The Tactical Electronic Warfare Support Unit is now an integral part of the Tactical Combat Force. TEW will deny the enemy hostile use of its electronic detection and defense capabilities. The briefing provides the crews with local weather, weather on station, and weather at alternate recovery bases. Intelligence gives its portion: enemy missile order of battle, recently active SAM sites, the latest MiG encounters, the radar situation, currently active radars, newly detected radar sites, signals of special interest meriting further investigation, and results of battle damage assessment from the previous strikes. The briefing is concluded and crews head for personal equipment issue, and then to the flight line. Each of the three models of the EB-66 has a specific job. This is the EB-66B model tactical electronic warfare aircraft. It was designed as a bomber in 1952. Those few B models modified for electronic warfare were assigned to the 10th Tactical Reconnaissance Wing in England in 1961. Its present configuration is based on the original modification, but includes a number of more powerful jammers. It was assigned its present duty in 1965. The B and E models have similar functions. They both jam SAM radars, AAA, acquisition radars, early warning, height finders, GCI and AI radars. The B model has 23 jammers aboard. The EB-66E model has a 30 jammer capability. It is a more recent member of the EB-66 family and is essentially a much improved version of the B model. It jams the same radars as the B model. The EB-66C is primarily an electronic reconnaissance aircraft. It has 9 jammers intended for self-protection, but most of the equipment aboard the aircraft consists of receivers, analyzers, DF units, and recorders, both video and audio. When walk-around is complete, the crews board for takeoff. The EB-66 aircraft usually precede the strike force in order to screen the approaching strike aircraft. The EB-66 has a gross takeoff weight of 80,000 pounds. It cruises at 450 knots at operational altitudes of 28 to 32,000 feet. It carries enough fuel to permit mission times of approximately 3.5 hours and can be refueled in flight. As soon as the aircraft reach 1,000 feet, the equipment is turned on to warm up. When the equipment is warmed up, the in-flight checks and calibrations are performed. The C model EB-66 can use its receiver to check the calibration of the jammers aboard the B and E models. When the B and E models are tuned, the C model can then use its receivers to calibrate its own jammers. The EB-66s refuel either en route to or after they are released from orbit. On this mission, they refuel en route. Even before reaching the tanker track, the EB-66s begin receiving surveillance radars from North Vietnam. Once refueled and heading for the jamming orbit, the C model begins surveying the radar environment. At the same time, the B and E models begin jamming the early warning radars and dispensing chaff. As the radars come up, they are analyzed, identified, and logged. A careful watch is kept for signals of special interest. These are either modified radars designed to exceed the expected parameters or new radar. During this period, there is at least one each of 5 different types of surveillance radar watching the EB-66 aircraft approach. They are also watching for the strike force. As the tactical electronic warfare force approaches the individual orbits, the environment becomes more active. Signal density higher. The C model, too, becomes more active. At this point, EWO station number 2 may be looking at as many as 15 different early warning and acquisition radars. The C model augments B and E model jamming. Each of the 3 EB-66 models arrives at its orbit. The C model continues to monitor, analyze, and jam enemy signals. The B and E models do the bulk of the jamming. All three models begin dispensing chaff. This creates false return signals on enemy receivers. The chaff is dispensed to screen the actual ingress-egress routes of the strike force and introduce multiple false targets to the surveillance radar net. Shortly before the strike force crosses the jamming orbit on their ingress route, nearly every type of radar in North Vietnam is on the air. Some of these radars operate on the same frequency, but from different locations. Some of them are old or new radars the enemy hopes we aren't prepared to jam. Some come up for a very short time, only to be followed by a coordinated on-off plan using cross-tell. Some of the radars are being modified to operate beyond expected parameters. The enemy is cunning. He uses every possible technique, both tactical and electronic, to get a clear picture through the heavy barrage of jamming and chaff. As the strike force approaches time over target, radar signal density increases to a peak. During TOT, as many as 30 radars will be up. Everything from 10 different types of early warning and acquisition radars to height finders and the vast population of AAA and SAM control radars. This is the target environment of the strike force. They all carry self-protection jamming pods. The effect of these pods, plus the standoff jamming and chaff, make it possible for the strike forces to carry out their mission. During TOT, the Iron Hand flight, the radar suppression force, seeks radar targets of opportunity. By their presence and their use of anti-radiation missiles and other ordnance, they help keep many SAM and AAA radars off the air. It is last TOT. They head for home on the egress route. Order of departure is strike force first, then the Iron Hand flight. As the force begins to RTB, return to base, the environment changes slightly. Some of the SAM and AAA go down, but the AI and GCI radars are still there. These radars are evidence of a serious threat. They indicate the appearance of the MiG. Barrage jamming and special attention to the AI and IFF is continued as the strike force passes the jamming orbit. When the strike force is well out of the area, the Tactical Electronic Warfare Force is released from orbit and begins to RTB. Even after orbit departure, jamming and surveillance continues. The signal density at this point is decreasing. Early warning and GCI are about the only radars up, but there are 6 or more of as many as 6 different types. A job of utmost importance at this point is electronic reconnaissance. Signals are analyzed and recorded. Scope displays are photographed. The EWO logs the signals, frequency, PRF, pulse width, polarization, scan modulation, the type of radar, and DF bearings. The electronic data gathered from each mission are of immense value to the missions that follow. They also become part of a total dynamic picture of the electronic environment. After the maintenance debriefing, the crews go through the electronic intelligence, or ELINT debriefing. The mission is reconstructed in detail. The crews report the kinds of radars encountered, missiles fired, MiGs encountered, flak sighted, MiG warnings, border violation warnings, equipment malfunctions, and anything unusual or of special interest. These and many similar questions are answered. Tape recordings from the QRC 310 provide accurate data for evaluation. All information is recorded. When the data from all air crews are processed and correlated, a clear picture of the mission emerges, and tactics and techniques are evaluated for continued effectiveness improvements. This is the vital role played by the tactical electronic warfare units as an integral part of tactical combat forces. Survival in this arena demands sophisticated countermeasures and up-to-date equipment. Tactical successes to date validate the statement, it cannot be assured that an aircraft going into a hostile environment with electronic countermeasures will return. But it can be almost guaranteed that an aircraft without ECM will not.